computer is doing. But like I see so many like Vercel.app, posts, and it's fine if you use Vercel, of course. But basically what I'm getting down to is like you can't create something new. Ironically, let's build something new. You can't create something new if you don't actually fundamentally understand the system that you're creating. And if you're working on a gorillion um, layers of abstraction to build your software, you're not going to be able to make anything new. And that's not to say you won't be able to make like a website that does something new, but it depends on what your goals are. So if you want to, so like Dingboard, for example, you guys know about Dingboard. This is written, I don't think that he was using Zig. He was doing, he was compiling something to WASM. If you guys are familiar with WASM, it's just a compilation target that just runs, in your browser. It's like faster than the JavaScript interpreter that's bundled with like your browser. It's more performant. If you've used Figma, Figma uses WebAssembly. Like they were one of the OG websites in like 2017 to be compiling Figma to WebAssembly because it's a beefy application. And even their compute, excuse me, has gotten like way up. Like your personal computer is like insane. In 2017, there's still a lot of people running like Windows 7 and stuff. And so if you don't have that like hardware acceleration support, or a multitude of different reasons, WebAssembly, you get more bang for your buck. But like Dingboard, right? So this isn't running all this stuff. If I'm not mistaken, is not running through the JavaScript like V8 or like WebView or JavaScript core because I'm running Safari. Yeah. In Zach, like what I'm saying is not like a really it's not like a new opinion. Of course, this has been around since people did anything. But abstractions, exactly. Abstractions are what happen when you, and this is sort of tying back to what I was saying. Abstractions are what get built once you understand something fundamentally. But if you skip some of the layers of abstraction, because again, you don't have to understand the theory of electromagnetism, to write a web app, right? That's kind of ridiculous. But knowing how a processor works, even just at like a high level, because like I don't really understand how a processor works. I just sort of have a high level understanding of the architecture of how it works. And again, abstractions only happen if you understand the previous level of abstraction. So if all you're doing is create React app and deploying to Vercel via a GitHub webhook that you don't even know exists, you're not going to. The abstractions are only good after you know what's going on. Exactly what Zach said. Another domino in the web of abstractions. I want to know how many devs actually know what a DOM is. It was funny. So when I was like 11 years old, I was learning JavaScript, and at the time there were plenty of great resources on the internet at that time. I was just really I don't want to say lazy, but I like really wanted if I didn't learn something immediately, or if I was following a tutorial and the thing that it told me to do didn't end up working, I'd get really frustrated because at the time there were this was way before LLMs, like almost 2 decades before. Well, not yeah, no. Anyways, well over a decade before LLMs. So like the thing was like if you didn't really have, you had to work off of some example. You had to see some sort of working example to get to learn how to program things. Nowadays, you can talk to an LLM and it will give you an example. But back in the day, you had to find examples or you had to buy a book or something. And so I would get frustrated really easily because I was like young and I got like upset really quickly if the thing I was trying to learn like didn't work the way that it was supposed to. And I remember seeing the word DOM everywhere and I'm like, what the hell is DOM? And and if you ask someone what the DOM is, like, oh yeah, it's the document object model. It's like, yeah, but what is that? What like data structure is that? It's like it's literally like a tree. It's a graph. It's a graph of the web page that you can traverse with JavaScript. It's an object representation of the actual HTML elements that you're working with, and it's really really interesting. And yeah, like not everyone needs to know that stuff, but at the end of the day, it's like you will not create new things if you do not understand the level of abstraction that led to the current level of abstraction that you're working on. And so, uh, yeah, yeah, you don't get dingboard by uh, deploying to Vercel with your Create React app. All that to say, if you learn the fundamentals, you can make things like dingboard. If all you know is Create React app and cursor, you just you have to be able to reason about the things that you are building. And that was my problem when I was younger is I wanted to build some crazy complex application, but I didn't even know what questions to ask. And that just leads to a lot of frustration, like exactly what I was saying, how I got frustrated as a kid when I couldn't figure something out the first time. It's like I didn't even know what to and I had Google, but like I didn't even know what to ask. And that was just so frustrating to me. And so during my teenage years, I really didn't get beyond that first hurdle of programming. I sort of understood how to do programming, but it was never like a write a web server level thing or you know really understand how JavaScript works and how to interact with the DOM API. Yeah, it's really unfortunate, but at the end of the day, I'm pretty young, so it's not like it's too late or anything, but I definitely like lost a lot of years because I see so many kids on X now who like are so good at programming and they're like 15 or 16 or something, and it's like damn, like if I had like had a mentor, or if I had just known how to learn better, I wouldn't have had to deal with all that. But and that's also a part of the journey is you can't like retroactively be upset because like you didn't have everything optimized from day one. That's just part of the journey. Like some people just get there earlier than you, and like that's fine. You could spend all day, getting upset that someone's doing better than you way earlier than you, but it's like what actually matters is like, are you doing better than you did a year ago or a week ago or whatever? At the end of the day, that's all you can do. You can't control what other people do. That's really it. You have to do it yourself, man. There's not much else you can do. You have to do it yourself. You can spend all day thinking, or you did spend your whole life thinking about how you're behind other people, but I mean, that's not going to get you forward at all.